WrestleMania isn't too far away, and with the Royal Rumble in the books, we've got a glimpse of what the card could shape up to be. While nothing is set in stone just yet, the pieces are starting to fall into place. So, based on everything we know so far, here's what I think WrestleMania should look like after the Royal Rumble. But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more wrestling content. Gunther vs. Jey Uso. Jey just won the Royal Rumble and now has a choice. Challenge Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship or Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Universal Championship. I think he's going to pick Gunther, and that's exactly where the story is heading. Jey has lost to Gunther multiple times, so this match didn't excite me at first, but that promo battle between them on Raw changed everything. Jey has been saying he knows he can beat Gunther, and now he finally has the chance to prove it. I could even see this match opening either night of WrestleMania. Just imagine the crowd erupting in yeet chants as Jey finally wins his first world title. It would be an unforgettable moment. Roman Reigns vs. CM Punk vs. Seth Rollins. A lot of people online think this feels like lazy booking. WWE could have easily given us a singles match between any combination of these three, but instead, we're getting a triple threat. But let's not forget, the foundation for this match was laid at the Royal Rumble. All three men were eliminated together, which immediately led to a chaotic brawl at ringside. That moment made it clear that their paths were destined to collide on the road to WrestleMania. Right now, Roman Reigns is out indefinitely due to the injury he sustained during that brawl, leaving CM Punk and Seth Rollins to continue their feud at Elimination Chamber. But once Roman returns, that's when we'll see the real build to this epic three-way showdown. That said, it's all about the build. If WWE delivers in the coming weeks, they can turn this into a must-see match. There's so much history between these three that, if told right, it could elevate the entire story. Three huge names, one massive showdown. This could easily main event night one of WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair vs. Tiffany Stratton. Charlotte Flair just won the Royal Rumble for the second time, and all signs point to her choosing Tiffany Stratton as her WrestleMania opponent. This makes perfect sense. Tiffany has openly said she's always wanted to face Charlotte, so it's great to see one of her dream matches come to life on the biggest stage possible. On SmackDown, Tiffany outright asked Charlotte to pick her, but Charlotte, in classic arrogant fashion, dismissed her as a child and told her to get on her knees and beg. That interaction alone made this match feel like a must-see. Seeing them in the ring together, you could just tell. They look like they were destined to fight one another. WWE could go in any direction with this feud, whether they position Charlotte as the babyface and Tiffany as the heel, or vice versa. But regardless of what they decide, the crowd will make their voices heard. Tiffany is incredibly popular right now, and you can expect the fans to be fully behind her. From an in-ring perspective, this match is going to deliver. The build should also be strong, especially if Tiffany leans into her confidence and flair on the mic. Her reign as women's champion needs a star-making defense, and this could be the match that cements her as a mainstay in WWE's main event scene. Intercontinental Championship Ladder Match. Braun Breaker defending his championship in a multi-man ladder match at WrestleMania. Sounds like chaos in the best possible way. His WrestleMania match should be a big one, and stacking the deck against him in a ladder match makes for an exciting challenge. That's why I've come up with 7 names who would fit right into an 8-person ladder match for the title. The first name that makes sense is AJ Styles. WWE already teased a feud between him and Breaker on Raw, and Styles' experience in ladder matches and WrestleMania in general makes him a must-have in this lineup. The third man in this match has to be Logan Paul. Love him or hate him, he delivers every time he steps in the ring, and a ladder match plays right into his strengths. We've already seen what he can do in Money in the Bank, and you know he'd find a way to steal the spotlight. The fourth spot belongs to Penta. He's one of the most dynamic high flyers in the world, and with Rey Mysterio also in this match, the lucha element would add another layer of excitement. Speaking of Rey, putting him in a WrestleMania ladder match is a no-brainer. His history in these matches speaks for itself, and this could be his last real ladder match moment at WrestleMania. LA Knight is another guy who has to be in this. As one of WWE's hottest acts, this would be a perfect way to give him a moment in a marquee match. He's also never won the IC title before. Then we have Randy Orton. Originally, I could have seen him working with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, but with Owens likely in a different role, why not throw Orton into a match like this? Finally, Sheamus rounds out the field. He's been chasing the one title that's eluded him his entire career, and if he were to finally achieve Grand Slam status, doing it in a chaotic ladder match at WrestleMania would be the perfect way. Ladder matches at WrestleMania are always a spectacle, and with these names involved, this could go down as one of the best we've ever seen. Rhea Ripley versus Iyo Sky. The women's world title has been locked in the intense feud between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan for months. Now that it's finally over, WWE finds itself in a tough spot. There isn't a clear, credible challenger for Rhea heading into WrestleMania. WWE hasn't built many women as true main event players, which is why pulling Iyo Sky out of the tag division and re-establishing her as a singles star makes the most sense. But the real question is, how do we get there? Iyo should be included in the Women's Elimination Chamber match, but with no more qualifying matches left, WWE needs to get creative. They could pull a move similar to the 2018 Elimination Chamber, where the match started as a triple threat with 7 total competitors. Iyo was screwed out of her qualifying match, so adding her in this way would feel justified. If WWE wants the best possible WrestleMania match, she should win. Rhea and Iyo have been on a collision course for a while now. Their numerous face-to-face interactions and stare-downs have felt like foreshadowing for an eventual showdown. Given their incredible in-ring chemistry from NXT, this match has the potential to be one of the best of the entire WrestleMania weekend. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. This feud feels like it's never going to end, and honestly, that's what makes it so compelling. Kevin Owens attacking his best friend Sami Zayn on Raw was inevitable. After losing the world title match at the Royal Rumble and suffering defeat to Cody, Owens likely lost his mind, and a turn on Sami seemed like it was right around the corner, especially after Sami rejoined Roman Reigns. Given the emotional weight of this storyline, this match needs a stipulation. It can't just be a traditional wrestling match. It has to feel like a blood feud. A Falls Count Anywhere or No Holds Barred match would be perfect for the stakes this feud has built. This isn't just about a title or a rivalry. It's about years of friendship, betrayal, and raw emotion. This has all the makings of a WrestleMania classic, and we might even see this matchup again in the future. But for now, it needs to be treated as the personal, high-stakes battle it is. Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. Jade Cargill's much-anticipated return didn't happen at the Royal Rumble, as many expected, and we still haven't seen much development regarding the storyline of her being attacked and taken out. There have been reports that Jade is currently training at the Performance Center to get herself back to in-ring ready status, but how WWE builds to this match remains unclear. One thing's for sure, Jade versus Bianca is a massive money match, and it absolutely needs to happen at WrestleMania. The story could weave in the mystery of Jade's attacker, but with Bianca being such a strong babyface, it's hard to see her ever turning heel in this feud. The last thing anyone wants is for Jade to return and get sidelined into the tag team division once again. She's a star, and her singles run against someone like Bianca could be one of the most high-profile and exciting matches in WWE for years to come. This rivalry needs to happen, and it needs to be treated as the spectacle it truly is. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Currently, the United States title is held by Shinsuke Nakamura, but I think Damian Priest should be the one to win it before WrestleMania and set up a title match against Drew McIntyre. There have been reports that Priest versus McIntyre is in the works for WrestleMania. Drew has had some intense blood feuds recently, but this one feels a little thrown together. If they're going this route, then the stakes should be high. Let's make it for the US title and give it some added significance. After WrestleMania, we can hopefully move on from this and focus on bigger, more personal storylines for both men. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria is the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion, but since winning the title, she hasn't really had a clear direction. A mini feud with Ivy Nile could serve as a filler to carry Lyra into WrestleMania, setting up the eventual showdown with Becky Lynch. The history between these two makes this match even more compelling. They've had a mini feud on NXT, where Lyra defeated Becky for the women's title, and they've had friendly interactions ever since Lyra's call-up to the main roster. The Intercontinental Championship has a rich legacy at WrestleMania, and this will be the first time the women's IC title is defended at the grand stage. It just feels right for Lyra to defend it against someone as storied as Becky Lynch. This is a marquee match, and having Becky involved will help elevate the title to even greater heights, giving it more exposure and a bigger spotlight. Whether this ends up being a face versus face encounter or Becky turns heel, this match is sure to be a great addition to the WrestleMania card. Wyatt 6 versus Judgment Day. Last WrestleMania, we saw the Pride versus the Final Testament. This year we could see a similar dynamic with Wyatt 6 versus Judgment Day in an intergender Vegas street fight. Alexa Bliss made her return at the Royal Rumble, and I can easily see her briefly teaming up with Wyatt Six for this match. Involving the women's tag titles here adds another layer of intrigue. While the titles may or may not be defended, I could see Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defeating Bianca Belair and Naomi for the titles in the coming weeks. Given the prominent roles of Finn and Dominic, it's hard to imagine them not being featured at WrestleMania, so this feels like a perfect way to get them involved. Roxanne Perez versus Bayley. This feud is slowly heating up. WWE is treating this as a big feud with segments featured multiple times a week. There's also potential for both women to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, continuing their feud from there. While this match could definitely take place at NXT Stand and Deliver, I would love to see it featured at WrestleMania instead. Roxanne is essentially already called up at this point, and bringing this feud to the main roster would help her get more familiar with the larger audience and give the fans a chance to fully get behind her. Her incredible performance in the Royal Rumble proved how talented she is, and having her face a future Hall of Famer like Bayley at WrestleMania would mark a defining moment in her career. It would not only solidify Roxanne's main roster debut, but also set the tone for the future of her WWE journey, potentially making this one of the breakout moments of the entire weekend. Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa just returned to SmackDown for the first time since his defeat to Roman Reigns in their monumental blow-off match for the title of Tribal Chief. Before his return, Jacob Fatu had been making a name for himself, showcasing his immense talent week after week. He's a future world champion, and it's only fitting that he gets a spot on the WrestleMania card. Solo, now on his way back to TV, should be met with a betrayal from within the bloodline itself, just like how he turned on Roman. Jacob versus Solo could be the perfect way to reignite Solo's storyline and build a massive personal feud for Mania. This match should culminate in Jacob winning, proving that he's more than just Roman's family member. He's a force in his own right. Nikki Bella versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green has had a strong run as the inaugural United States champion, showcasing her skills and solidifying herself as a top contender. With the US title in its first year, it deserves a major moment at WrestleMania, and this match could be just that. Nikki Bella's return at the Royal Rumble wasn't a one-off. She's here to stay, and facing Chelsea Green for the US title would be a fantastic way to get her involved in a high-profile match on the biggest stage. The storyline practically writes itself. Chelsea Green has always expressed her desire to face Nikki Bella, and in a post-Rumble interview, Nikki revealed that she had her eyes set on Green. This gives us a perfect narrative. Nikki, a WWE legend with mainstream popularity, coming back to challenge for the prestigious US title, while Chelsea looks to prove herself by defending it against one of the company's most iconic women. Nikki Bella's popularity cannot be understated, whether some hardcore fans like it or not. Her involvement in a match for the US title would attract more eyes to the division and bring even more mainstream attention to WWE. DIY versus Pretty Deadly versus Street Profits versus MCMG. SmackDown's tag division has been consistently featured on TV, and it's about time that they get the spotlight at WrestleMania. What better way to showcase the division than with a thrilling four-way match for the SmackDown tag team titles? The storyline has been brewing for months, involving DIY, Pretty Deadly, Street Profits, and the Motor City Machine Guns. All four teams have been involved in key segments, and WrestleMania would be the perfect payoff. I could see Pretty Deadly winning the titles in an upset, though, as they have been the backbone of this entire storyline. Their shock win at WrestleMania would create a memorable moment that fans will talk about long after the event, especially with their dynamic personalities and the surprise factor. War Raiders versus Creed Brothers. While SmackDown's tag division has been thriving, Raw's tag scene has been a bit lackluster. The best option here could be to feature the War Raiders facing off against the Creed Brothers for the Raw tag team titles. The Creed Brothers, who have shown a lot of promise, could finally achieve their goal of winning the gold at WrestleMania, which makes sense for both teams. Although it feels like it could be set for the pre-show, it has the potential to deliver, and it will give the audience a fun and hard-hitting tag contest to kick off the show. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. The main event of WrestleMania Night 2 should be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. There's no other option in my opinion. John delivered an incredible promo at the Royal Rumble press conference, making it clear that he believes his 17th world title win at WrestleMania is best for business. Cody Rhodes' reign has divided fans, with one group loving the title reign so far, while another feels it's starting to get stale. A program with Cena could really reignite his reign and make it compelling, proving without a doubt that Cody is a successful champion. WWE could honestly go both ways here. Cena could win his 17th title in Vegas, making the moment huge, or they could have Cody take the torch and beat the man people have been comparing him to for years. If Cena loses, it leaves the door open for him to continue fighting for that 17th title throughout his retirement tour, keeping the drama and stakes high. What matches do you think will happen at this year's WrestleMania? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more wrestling content. Thanks for watching.